Hello, everybody. I thought I would take a few minutes today to record a couple of things that we've learned on Zoom, and I was going to write them up and just send them to everyone in an email, but I thought this would be a lot easier and perhaps more instructive so that I can demonstrate some things for you. You can see how it's going. Hopefully, most of you are getting to a point now where you've had a chance to play around with Zoom. You're getting more comfortable with it. And I hope that it's proving to be a vital tool for our brethren scattered around the world as we are in these very troubling times. So here's a little tutorial that I wanted just to share with you, but I wanted to show you some things that you may or may not have discovered, but these are some things that I think you will find to be helpful. So first, let me make it clear that Zoom actually exists in two parts. First of all, there's the application that is loaded on your computer or on your phone or on your tablet. That's what we're looking at here in this window. This is the Zoom app as it installs on my Mac in this case. Looks the same on the PC. So there's two parts. There's the app that loads on your device. That allows you to connect your microphone. It allows you to connect your camera and to send that signal up to the servers that Zoom has up in the cloud on the internet. That brings us all together. Okay, so from this application window, you have your home screen. You can join a meeting. You can add a meeting. Normally, see, I'm recording right now. This is a live screen, but I'm recording. I'm in a meeting right now to record this. That's why it says back to meeting. Schedule a meeting, share a screen, join some things. There's some different tabs up on top of here. You can actually have a chat. We can have a chat system through Zoom if you have your Zoom app running. This is a list of my meetings that are recurring meetings. You'll recognize a couple of these. Sabbath services from Pasadena. That's what I'm recording on right now. Pastors Conference. And also you have some contacts. And I believe that some of these company contacts are available to you as well, though I have to confirm that, but it should be that we have these built in as well. But I wanted to show you that even if you are not in a meeting, if you're on your computer and you haven't started the meeting or you haven't connected to a meeting, you can come up here on the right. You can see that I'm recording right now. The little recording light is on. But if I click on this, I can also open my settings window from right in here. So I can actually come in here and I can see myself. I can set up my camera. I can set up my audio. I can do all kinds of things before I actually join the meeting. So you can do this offline. And that's kind of an interesting little thing to keep in mind, that if you want to get yourself set up in advance before you're connected to the meeting and everybody's watching you, that's another feature. So important to understand that there are two aspects of Zoom. There's the app that's here on the computer itself, and there's also your settings window for your account, which live in the cloud, which live on the Zoom servers. Okay, important to understand that distinction. So now let's take a look. We're going to come back to this in a minute, but let's take a look at the Zoom settings on the server right now. When you log into your account, so here you're looking at now, this is my profile, and each of you has one of these profiles. And you sign in with your address that you used when we set up our corporate account and your password. It will take you to your profile page. So I wanted to just highlight a couple of things for you in case you weren't aware of these things. On the first page, of course, you can add a picture of yourself if you want to, but one very important feature as we go down here, it shows you your account information, your email address, that you are a licensed user. It tells you all of these things. It's probably a good idea to make sure that your time zone is set correctly. And that's just right up over here. You want to check here and make sure that you've got your time zone set up properly. I wanted to show you this down here. This is a very important feature right down here called the host key. Okay, so for some of you have asked, can we assign someone to be the host? For example, the account is for most of you in your pastor's name, but I want my technical coordinator to start the meetings and to host the meetings because I'm busy getting ready to preach. All right, here's how you have someone else become the host. You cannot set up a permanent assignment to have someone as an alternate host. So that means that you either have to log in and start each meeting yourself, or if your meeting is set up to allow people to join your meeting ahead of time without a host, you can come here to this host key, and it's in your profile down at the bottom. And if I click on the show button here, it will show me that it's a 6-digit number. Okay, this 6-digit number, if you give that information to whomever you want to be the host, all they have to do is log in to start the meeting and open up the participants window. And in the lower right-hand corner of I can't demonstrate that to you right now because I'm signed in by my account. I can't actually show you that on the screen. But if they click on the participants window and they go down to the lower right-hand corner, there will be a button there that says claim host. In other words, I want to claim to become the host. I want to become the host of this meeting. And if you click on that button, it will open up and it'll allow you to enter these 6 digits. Once they do that, they hit the enter button, they're now the host of the meeting. So the pastor doesn't have to be there to start the meeting. The other thing I wanted to show you is if this is a number that's arbitrarily assigned by Zoom, and if you look all the way over here to the right, you can edit that number. So if you would like to put in some number that's easier for you to remember or for your technical coordinators to remember, you can change that number, you can assign your own number, and it will lock in and it'll save it, and that's it. That's a really important tool for the ability to share and have someone else host the meetings for you. And if you go down, I wanted to just show you some of these things on the side here, these tabs. You go to the next tab, this is showing all of my recurring meetings, and you see there's a green dot next to this one because I'm actually recording in the Sabbath service meeting room right now. That's where we are. So this will show you your recurring meetings. It will also show you if you scheduled meetings in advance. Webinars, we don't typically use webinars, but I wanted to also show you this important tab. If you choose to record in the cloud, if you want to record services, you want to record your sermon, here's how it will appear. It will show up in your recordings tab. This was our past Sabbath. I can either click on it here, or I can click on it over here in 4 files, same difference. It will take me into this page. Now I can download all 4 of those files by simply clicking on this button right here, and it'll download all the various files. Now, what files have I recorded? Here are the files individually. Here are the 4 files are listed here. This is the shared screen with the speaker view. Now that means when we share our screen with the hymnal, for example, during Sabbath services, this version will show the hymnal. The actual hymnal will be in the video. And in fact, I can probably show you that. There you have it. So that's the actual version that contains the hymnal or the shared screen. So if I wanted to just download that, I can come right over here to this arrow. See that little download arrow right there? I can click on that and it will begin to download that file to my computer. Here's a shared screen with a gallery view. Well, this would be useful if you were having a meeting and you wanted to see all of the faces. That would show you the gallery view, just like you have after services if you do fellowshipping, where you can see up to 49 faces at a time. That's what that one would record. This is the speaker view only, and that means it does not include the shared screen. So if you're not sharing any screens like the hymnal, you might just download that, but you will see that these are, in fact, these 2 are redundant. And each one of these, if you notice over here on the right, see these size of these files over here, those are pretty significant size files. So the one that we use for most of the time is just this top one, shared screen with speaker view. So the point being that if I click back into this screen, I can download that one right here. I can download that one. I can download that one. And here's audio only. And I can download the audio file of the entire services, and that's a much smaller file size. Or I can download them all with the click of one button. So I wanted to bring that to your attention because if you do record in the cloud, no problem with that. But I wanted you to be aware of the fact that we, in our corporate account, we have 1 gigabyte allowed per pastor, per user, to actually leave it up on the file. What does that mean? It means once we have 18 accounts, once we have exceeded 18 accounts or 18 gigabytes of storage in the cloud, I get a note from Zoom saying you've exceeded your limit. Do you want to buy more storage space? which we don't really want to do. The other option is to download, and that's what we just saw. So we'll want to go back in there. We'll want to download that screen. So that's what you do. You come in here and you download those files. Once they've been downloaded, I'm just going to back up. Once they're downloaded, I can come in here. I can put a tick in front of that, and I can say, delete selected files. If I click on this button right now, it's going to come back. Are you sure you want to delete that? Yep, I'm going to delete it. And guess what? Boom, it's gone. It's not there anymore. Now, this is something that I'm recording right now. But I wanted to also point out that I've already deleted this, but just so you know, it stays active in the trash for 30 days. It says it's saved for 30 days. So if I deleted it and I realized, oops, I really kind of wanted to go back and recover that leadership program, leadership development program, or Sabbath services from any one of these dates, I can come back and I can say, let's find our last Sabbath service was this one. Let's recover that. See the little recovery button here? I'm going to recover that. You sure you want to recover it? Yep, I want to recover it. And now if I go back to my recordings, here again, we see the one that we're in the process of doing right now. This is the one we're in the process of doing right now. This is the one that I just restored. Okay, so the point is, it's there, it's available, and even after you've deleted it, it's not a problem. So I can just go back and tell this one more time. Let's delete that selected file. Yes, it's gone. And that way, as far as Zoom is concerned, I'm not taking up additional space. The fact that it's there in the trash can, that's not considered taking up space. So we have a 30-day cushion. So I just wanted you to be aware of that. Going further on down here, these are your settings. And I do hope that everyone will take the time to just kind of read through these and become familiarized with these. They're all pretty self-explanatory, pretty easy to figure out what it means. If you have any specific questions or problems with any of these things, send me an email, text me, whatever, we can figure it out. Account profile, all of yours will say the same thing. We are all hosted by one corporate account, and that's my Vision Media account name. And it is hosted by the Church of God. And through this grand business account, we were able to get all of this at 50%. And now I wanted to show you one other thing, and that is, you may not be aware of this, but this is a pretty handy little gizmo. Down at the bottom here, if you click on reports and you come to usage, it will now show you a calendar range. Well, this is showing me, let's see, today I'm recording this on the 28th. It's showing me a range of 2 days, of yesterday and today. If I go back to, say, start my range on the previous Wednesday, now this will include the previous Sabbath. If I say search, now looky here, what we get. We get, well, this was a meeting that I just had recently, but here is my recent Sabbath services. And you'll notice if I click over here on the number of participants, which you see it's blue, if you hover over it, you see it's got an underline. That means it's a link, it's hot, it's live. If I click on that, look what we get. We actually get a meeting report that shows all of the people that were connected during our last Sabbath session on Zoom. This is only for Zoom, wouldn't cover any additional turnarounds to Uber Conference, but in terms of attendance, this is pretty helpful. If they're logged in as active members in Zoom, and it'll show their email as well, it shows the amount of time they're on. Now, take note of this. It will show, for example, let me see if, okay, here's a good example. Let me show you this right here. Laurel Melvey was logged in twice. She was logged in for a minute and then possibly got kicked out, internet problems. So she logged in a second time. It's going to record each one of these unless we go back up top and we tell it to do this, to show unique users. If I put a tick on this, and I put a tick on this, it's now going to show me that this header is on here. Sabbath services for the Pasadena meeting, the start time, the end time, the date. It's going to show you everything that was in there. And now it's going to combine. So instead of any of these people that had multiple connection problems, it's going to show them all at once. So this might be a useful tool. And of course, now the best part about it is, see this button? I can export this, and it's now creating a spreadsheet, an Excel spreadsheet. Anyway, this might be a helpful way for you to have a connection to attendance. So I just wanted to point that out and let you know that that is also available for each and every one of you in your profile. Down at the bottom to the tab to the reports, usage, and then be sure to enter your date range that you want to search for, conduct a search, and it'll be there. So those are some of the things on the actual logging into the Zoom app. I wanted to show that to you. But now I'd like to show you my screen. So you're seeing what I normally see now. You're seeing me, and this is my screen. And you can see that I'm recording this so that you'll be able to watch this on a playback. I wanted to call your attention to, there's a couple of really helpful little buttons up here that you may not be aware of. If I click in the information, this little I up here on the meeting, if I click on that, well, look at that. Here, this is the meeting number. I'm the host. Here's the password. Here's the link. Oh, if I want to copy that link, all I got to do is click on that, and it's now copied to my clipboard. So if I wanted to then somebody's having trouble connecting, I can open up my email. I can start a new email, a new message. I can drop that in. I can paste in the invitation, and there it is. Boom! I can send that out to somebody, and that's available. So that's a very quick and easy way to find this information. Right alongside of that, you see a little green shield with a tick in front of it, which means that your encryption is engaged. This is enhanced encryption, and that is a security feature, a new security feature from Zoom. But if I click on that little green shield, it opens up my settings window. Isn't that convenient? And if you haven't noticed, when in the early stages, we would direct people down here to the lower left-hand corner to say, well, here, let's click on this and find your audio settings. Here's what microphone you've selected. Here's what speaker you've selected. You can show them all that stuff, and that's good. Here's your video settings. And I know this looks unusual because I have some different things plugged in that you've not seen before. But instead of navigating through all of that, you can click on this one button, and up pops your setting window, which is a general, which is your video, which is your audio, which has all of your settings in it. I want to now show you something else that's a really wonderful tool. You see my virtual background right here, and you see that my camera is active right now. I'm going to turn off my video. So normally you would be seeing this, right? You'd just be seeing my name because I've turned off my video. Well, I wanted you to be aware of the fact that if you leave your virtual background window open, you have this preview window, which is always available. So you can see, how do I look? Am I off? Am I off to the side? Am I askew? Is my hair messed up? Is my tie, wrong? You can preview yourself before you go live with your video. Another little interesting tool. So I am speaking to you. I'm in my studio. I'm actually, my computer is an iMac. And the iMac is actually, I'm at arm's length. I'm reaching out, and it's about 3.5, it's almost 4 feet away from me. Now I have software built into mine because it's far away that allows me to zoom in. Here's what the camera actually looks like. You can see that my green screen doesn't extend all the way. And so I actually use a little piece of software that I had to pay for. It was, I think, $19 or something. But I used that to just zoom in a little. But I wanted to make a comment to clean up my shot. I zoom in a little bit. It also gives me the ability to adjust. Here's what my camera normally would look like. See how soft my camera is? How much softer my picture is? Because I've zoomed in a little bit, but I can sharpen it a little bit with this. I can make it look a little nicer. I can also adjust the color balance. And this is a problem that many of us have had in the past, where suddenly we're starting to look like Oompa Loompas with orange. These are some things that are some little tools that you can look along the way. Now, I'm on a Mac. This is a tool that's available to Mac. I haven't found a really good one for the PC yet, but I think over time we will. So I just wanted to point some of those things out. But I also wanted to mention this. So I'm doing this through software, but when you position your camera your laptop, I should say, when you're positioning your laptop to see how your camera looks, and you're looking at it through, you're composing your shot here. Let's talk about a couple of things. Number one, when we're preaching, typically, you remember how we used to set up, and we would always show the top edge of the lectern. We'd be back on about a, maybe a belly button up shot, and that's a pretty comfortable shot where we're close enough, but we're not in people's faces. What happens when you're coming into my living room and speaking to me, if you're in super close to the camera, and now the pastor's giving me the stink eye because he's so close to his camera, he's so close to his laptop that I feel like he's visually yelling at me. There's a danger in being too close. Okay, a danger, that's a strong word. It makes us a little bit uncomfortable if we're too close. So as a general rule of thumb, it's a good idea to think about the shots that we used to get, maybe belly button's good. Maybe slightly above, that's fine. But maybe the middle of the abdomen up so that you can have a little bit of breathing room. And another tool that I use all the time is my 99-cent back scratcher. It works really, really well. But it also works. I see some people that sit in front of their camera like this, and they look like they're small people, munchkins, very short. We don't need all of this headroom up here, up above in the shot, right? So I use this tool because I can reach right up there and I can just tilt my camera a little bit, and I can even change the angle on it if I want to. See, so that's just a little simple tool. I don't have to lean forward because now I don't know what my shot really looks like. I stay back here. I use this on the top edge. I can tilt it up. I can tilt it down. I can push it back. Okay, simple little 99-cent solution, but it really works well. Let me see. That's the virtual background window. That's the composition of our video. I want to show you now one other thing, and that is some new audio information. And this is something that you should probably do as well. When you open up your settings window, and remember, yes, you can open up your audio settings from down here. It's the same window. You can open up your video window from down here. It's the same window. Or you can just open it up from right here and select audio, video, virtual background, or whatever else you want to do. Let's go to audio for now. If you don't know this, you should know this. This is where you're setting where your speakers are. This is my playback. In my case, I have a USB audio codec that's feeding a mixer here, and this is where my sound is coming back. Did you know you can test the speakers? And it gives this nice, gentle little bum-ba-dum-bum-bum-bum-bum. Okay, that's fine. Thanks for that. Did you know that you can also, you see here what's happening. Here's my Blackmagic web presenter. That is my audio source because I'm actually passing my microphone through the hardware that's called a Blackmagic web presenter. That's why that is selected. Yours might be a USB mic. Yours might be a headset. Yours might be your built-in microphone to your laptop or PC or whatever. But I want you to I want to call attention to the fact that we have this meter. First of all, in your audio settings, do not tick this audio adjust microphone volume. Leave that turned off. Leave that unticked like I have it right now. And notice that as I'm lowering this, my volume is going to go down on my microphone until it's gone. And so you can't hear me when that thing is all the way down. But I wanted to call your attention to this meter. You should look at this meter. And here's another thing that you might not know. You can test your microphone and you can find out exactly how you sound to the people on the other end. And you do it like this. Testing 1, 2, 3. How does it sound? Testing 1, 2, 3. How does it sound? And it plays your microphone back through the speakers so you can do a nice little test. So now let me show you a new audio feature that's recently been introduced into Zoom. And a shout out to Mr. Joey Dion who brought this to our attention. This was a feature that was very recently added. It's sometimes referred to as music mode because it gives us the opportunity to turn off some of the filters, some of the built-in filters and compression that happen in Zoom to ensure that the music arrives on the other end in the cleanest possible way. So let me show you that. So if I open up my settings window again, let me show you something else. We're going to go back to our audio settings and show you this in a minute. But before we do this, there's a setting that you need to have turned on in your web interface. And so I wanted to show you this. Remember, we have the app that lives on our computer, and we have our settings window, which we were looking at before, that are in the cloud. We need to return to our settings in the cloud to make sure of something. And I wanted to show you this in case you weren't aware of this. Up under the General tab, you can click on this button, and it will actually bring in your settings. It'll open up a browser window, and it will show you your profile. You have to log in. If you're not logged in, you'll have to still type in your username and password. But once you're in there, it will take you straight to your settings window. And I also wanted to show you that the way that Zoom works here, the settings, there's a long series of settings here, and they go on and they go on and they go on. But if you go back to the top, you'll notice there's a slightly gray bar that says these are the security settings up top, and it coincides with this little word security here. If we go further on down, you'll see that it actually brings you to schedule meeting, and that corresponds to the second tab. So I wanted to show you that this is a long string of settings that goes down, and you can scroll and you can scroll and you can scroll, but you can also take these shortcuts on the side. That jumps you down to your schedule meeting, that jumps you down to your basic and your in meeting advanced. And so these are some shortcuts to help you navigate around through the settings. Okay, so having said that and having seen that, so let's jump down to in meeting advanced, boom, and that slides you way down into the meeting settings. And now if we scroll down a little bit further, I want to show you these two settings. It's important that you have these two turned on. Okay, you have to turn this one on, allow users to select stereo, and you have to turn that on, allow users to select original sound in their client settings. If you do not have these two settings turned on, this feature won't work. So now I've turned that on in the cloud. It'll automatically save. I can close out of this. And now if I come back to the app, now this is on the app. I know this is a little confusing, but it's important. You have to have that setting first. Understand it this way. The cloud, the internet, the online service that you get to through a browser, that's where you keep most of your main long-term settings. It's kind of like your preferences window. If you don't have these features turned on in your preferences window, you're not going to be able to use them live in your meeting. So you have to turn them on there first. Once they're enabled, now you can come into your meeting and you can activate them. And that's exactly what we're going to do. So I'm going to open this up. And here's my settings window, which I had pulled off to the side. And now notice that I turned on those features. Now there's a button here that says enable stereo. So I want to first of all do that. I want to enable stereo. That's in my main audio settings window. And now if I go down to the bottom, and there's a button called advanced. If I come in here, we see some new features. Here it says show in meeting option to enable original sound from microphone. And watch what happens up here in the corner. When I click on that button, it opens up a new button here to turn off or to turn on original sound. I mentioned to you before that there's a fan blowing on me, and Zoom is filtering that sound out. Here's where this is set. Suppress persistent background noise. So the settings that I'm showing you now are settings that we'll want to use for music transmission. That is, if you're playing back music, you know, the hymns for the brethren to hear and sing along with, this is the best way to get the cleanest music sound all the way through the pipeline to your end users. So for us speaking with a microphone, we don't necessarily want to do this because, as I mentioned, I've got a fan on. You're not hearing it. Why? Because this is turned on auto. This suppresses persistent background noise. This suppresses intermittent background noise, clicking on keyboards or tapping, you know, on your desktop, or doors closing, chair movement, all those sorts of things. This actually helps keep your sound cleaner. But if you were setting this up for music, you would want to disable that one. you would want to disable that one. Echo cancellation, you really can't disable. It's either auto or it's aggressive. We don't want it on aggressive, so just leave that one alone. This is the setting that you want to do if you're going to be playing back music, not if you're speaking, not if you're preaching. Okay, so just important to understand that distinction. All right, now here is the interesting part, and this is the toggle switch. When I click to turn that on, it says, now up here in the left, it says turn off original sound. And then to the right of that, there's a little pull down menu. Now it's important, I have quite a variety of audio sources in my system. That's why you're seeing all of these. This is my microphone. This is what I would use for our music playback. It's an app that I have that I use to play the hymn services back through my computer. Regardless of how you set up, it's important, it's critical that you select in this window the source of your music coming back. Okay, so that's important that you have it selected there. Once that is selected, let's put it on, I'm going to click it on loopback. So once that is selected, now it says turn off original sound. That means it is currently playing your original sound. It means it's no longer filtering anything. This is a toggle switch. If I click on it again, it says turn on original sound. The way that this works, as confusing as it is, but take it for what it literally says. Turn on original sound. Original sound means we've got this recording of our music. The music that we recorded is clean. It doesn't need to be filtered. It's good in its original state. So leave it alone is what you're telling Zoom. So if I want to turn on original sound, it's now on. Okay? So it feels funny because it's now the status says turn off original sound. Well, no, that's right, because my original sound is now what's going to go through. So if I play music back right now with this setting, with turn off original sound, it's going to be capturing the best quality audio and going through to the end users. So that's going to guarantee a nice clean stereo signal. Okay, I think that's all that I had on my little list for now, but I wanted to say I hope that you are enjoying Zoom. If you have any questions, any comments, or if you, as Mr. Dion did, if you discover something that we haven't learned yet, because the Zoom software changes all the time, they're constantly improving it, please send me a note, let me know. If you have questions, if there's anything you need help with, send me an email, send me a text, send me a whatever. We can get together on Zoom. We can work it all through, talk it all through. But I hope that this little tutorial is of value. Let me know. Appreciate your feedback. And I think we will call that a day. Take good care and happy Zooming.